Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Let me put this up so I could see you all. And then that in case I need that. Hi. I just noticed something. Hey, rascal. Hey, rascal. All right. Well, my cat's here, so we'll see how long that lasts. Hello, who is here? I have a feeling that I may have some new people, so I came on a little early to say hello to everyone. Hi, Carol. Hi, Donna, Molly. Hello, everyone. And then we may have some new people joining us. So if you are new to me, if you could let me know. If you have an account with Google, you're able to chat. And if you can chat, let me know if you're new and let me know what issues you have, if any, so that I can help you if there are any people here that are new. Shannon, hello. So for those of you that are here, while we're waiting, well, if you want to tell me anything, of course, I'd love to hear how you're all doing. Um, it's very interesting. Oh, just such a journey and such a just crazy. So I would love to hear how you're doing, how you're managing, how everything is going for you. And then I would also like to talk about props. We're going to do a lot of standing work today. And Shannon, I'm so glad you're here because for some reason you stick out with knees. And so, when somebody brings up a question or an issue, then I try to think of what we can do for that issue. And so, if you guys have a ball, and oh man, Hamilton is playing with my ball, so he's rolling it all over the place. Um, so if you have a tennis ball or some kind of ball, even if you only had a lacrosse ball, they're really hard and they can be very uncomfortable for the feet. So I prefer to not have it be a tennis ball. I mean, a lacrosse. And if that's all you have, get that. I'd like to free up the kinetic chain when we do our standing work today. And I'd like to soften what affects the knee joint and all the stuff in the foot, the ankle and the foot and everything. So if you have a tennis ball, if you could go grab one while we're waiting, that would be great. And then let me see. And then Carolyn, oh, so great to have you here. Sharon's here. I went into the store the other day. I don't go out much because my husband's type 1 diabetic and I don't want to potentially bring anything into the house right now. So I don't really go out often. And I did go out the other day to CVS. Judy number 2 is here. Lynn, hi. Anne, sound has an echo. Okay, Anna. Anna, are you new to me? Um, and then for the rest of you, are you hearing an echo? There is a cat running around, so I don't know if that's it. I've got my microphone right here. So let me know if you are hearing an echo. And then Anna, are you new to me? If so, can you let me know if you have anything in particular I needed to know about? And who else? Joyce. Hello, Joyce. Shannon, thank you. Nia's doing better. You've been using the tennis ball. Yeah, awesome. It's amazing how this happens. Hamilton. Hamilton might have to leave. Carolyn, no echo. Sharon, I don't have an echo. Okay, you love the kitty. Oh, good, Lynn. The knees are getting you. I mean, not good that the knees are getting you, but good that I want to do tennis ball to free up knee tissue. Um, well, this morning I was on the computer for 2 hours in a hip workshop with Dr. Fishman. He's doing another one that starts now at 11, and I'll go on at the end of that 2 hour workshop when we finish our class. And then, so today was the hips. And then, and many of you know that I've had a hip replacement. So for me, hips are really something. And then the knees are so intriguing to me because many people have issues in their knees. I want to learn as much as I can so that I can share that wisdom. Um, no echo, no echo. Yes, new, fix the echo. Okay, yes, you knew. Thank you. Good, it's fixed. And Anna, let me know if there's anything I need to know about your body. Do you have replacement parts, osteoporosis? Do you have issues in your tissues? If there's anything, sometimes it helps me either give a pose according to that or something. And Jeannie, hello. Um, And Cam, you're here as well. And now Judy number one has arrived. So we're all here. Um, you know what's really interesting, you guys? I'm turning people into cat people. So I've had two people mention. Oh, and I don't know if Stevie's here with us because some people are able to watch but not able to chat. So I wanted to let you know that for most classes she's with us. So just to like visualize Stevie and know that she's here with us as well. Osteoporosis, healthy and flexible overall. Okay, perfect. Um, and then welcome, Anna. So many of the people that you're seeing here, I teach 7 classes a week for a hospital in Southern California. I'm not sure where you live. And many of these people, hello, Chachi Escobar, right? Okay, hi. So I was just explaining that many of the people that are chatting here are people who practice with me every week. And some have practiced with me for 6 years. I've been teaching at the hospital for 6 years. So we all know each other and say hi to each other. Marin, Northwest. Okay, perfect. Well, welcome. And okay, Torrance. Yeah, we're down here in Torrance area. Okay, your right knee is so painful. So Cam, today's going to be great for you. So for those who haven't heard me yet, if you could get a tennis ball, if you have access to a tennis ball, if you don't have access to a tennis ball, something that's going to put pressure in the sole of the foot. So it could be a washcloth rolled up into a tight roll. It could be any other kind of ball. It doesn't even have to be a small ball. It could be a big ball. Something to add myofascial pressure to hydrate your muscles and to free up contraction or tension in the muscles. So I'd like to loosen up the knee because we're going to do quite a bit of standing poses today. So get a ball if you don't have one, or a small washcloth that you could roll up tight. A chair. Not all of you will need a chair. You'll need a chair if you have issues with balance when we're doing the standing work. So grab a chair. You know, while I'm talking right now, just go around your house and get one. And then also, if you have the regular props would be blocks. If you have blocks, get blocks. And if you don't have blocks, I've got a step stool. So step stool could actually be a way to bring the floor to you, because that's what the props do. They bring the floor to us. And depending on what's going on in your body, if you have issues in your tissues, the flexibility may decrease as we not just age, but even with injury. So I tore my hip joint when I was 44, had a very strong yoga practice, and I needed props because I couldn't load that joint with that torn labrum. So it's not really even about age. It's just about making this practice safe and comfortable, and so that you could do the deepest work possible safely. Okay, let me see who else, what else. Um, so Orange County, okay, great. Okay, Terry, sometimes you have trouble hearing. And then Michael's here. Great. Oh, George, you joined us as well. So we have some boys in the house, which is lovely. I love my men with the mental flexibility to show up to yoga. So um, here is my microphone. So that's what, so it's pretty close and hopefully it's picking up sound. Know that I have an assistant today, Hamilton, my little blue-eyed monster. So he's running around the background. He's like a teenager and he's crazy boy. So you might hear things and it's Hamilton playing with a tennis ball. So he'll need to leave if he's not behaving. Okay, so hopefully you have everything you need. And if not, before we stand, you could run and get stuff. But before we begin, if you could get a chair, if you think you're going to need one, you could have a wall. Ooh, and I just noticed my wall's not really showing. So just in case I use my wall. Okay, you could have a wall that you could use, blankets or pillows or towels, whatever you need to make you comfortable, and whatever you need. If you're cold, if it's chilly in your room, then get something that you can cover yourself with, because the beginning of class is about calming the mind, and it's very hard for the mind to calm down if there's a lot of body sensations or distractions. So pain, cold, any kind of sensory distractions. So that's going to be important as well. Hi, Dina. Okay. So really fast, what I want to say is 2 people have told me they're maybe considering cats. So I think I'm going to hook up with the cat rescue people and say, let's see if somebody wants a cat. I cannot say enough good things about them, and there is studies actually that show that pets help us secrete neurotransmitters of happiness, neurotransmitters that are similar to what happens with a nursing mother. So very deep primal um, sensory feelings are elicited when you have animals. And this little guy slept with us last night and he's so soft and fluffy. I told my husband, I feel like I'm in love, like I have a new boyfriend. And of course it's a cat and he's fluffy, so it's safe. But I'm just saying that feeling of like take your breath away love, I feel that for this guy. So anyway, I cannot say enough good things about cats. And yoga is about getting your mind into a calm, harmonious place. That's the true goal of yoga. The asana we do is to keep our package strong and healthy and happy. The real true goal of yoga is to get ourselves to a place where we can actually become calm and smooth. And then that will help to minimize all the havoc that takes place in the body when the mind is not that. Okay, so we're going to go back onto our mat. And if you don't have a mat at home, it could be the carpet, it could be a rug, it doesn't matter. In yoga, they don't actually use yoga mats. They have these plastic things they put out that are kind of like picnic, like we would take to the park or the beach. And so yoga doesn't have to be done on anything or with anything in particular. So let that go if that's something you have in your mind. And then let's come back to our mats or whatever it is you're going to rest on, bringing yourself all the way back. I would like I'd like us to do a slight something for postural correction. And believe it or not, I'm working with my 20-year-old daughter and her posture because I swear to gosh, she looks like this. I showed her yesterday, so she's freaking out. So let's do something for postural correction because most of us are looking down more often than we usually do. We're either looking down to text, to be on the computer. Um, if we're sitting in the sofa, we might not have ourselves nice and propped up. And then what was the last thing I was going to say? We were doing cooking. So most people are cooking more often, and you're looking down to chop your vegetables. So let's do a postural correction. There's two choices here with the upper body. You could take a blanket and you could fold or roll your blanket up. The more you fold it, the bigger you roll it, the bigger the opening is. So you need to know your own body and how much flexibility you have and range of motion in your chest. And if you want to be near a wall with your legs, or if you want your legs to go on a chair, that's also a choice for this. The other option, if not having this underneath, is to have nothing under your back. So you're either going to have something underneath the bra line, or for you boys, the bro line. So right underneath here, you're going to have something. Or if you have nothing, the really important thing here is hand position. So the arms are out to the side. If you bend the elbows like this when you're on the floor, that's going to help to stretch rotator cuff muscles, to stretch chest and shoulders, and to add extension into the back, which is really important when you have osteoporosis. This is the biggest no-no with osteo, rounding the thoracic spine. And it's postural too. It's not just the way we move, it's the way we are standing, sitting, even in a neutral position. Okay, so with osteoporosis, we're going to come down onto the floor like this. You're going to reach your hand away to minimize that flexion in the thoracic spine. Come all the way so that the prop is behind your bra line, your heart. So not where the low back is and not all the way to the upper back. If you have a blanket or towel or something underneath your spine, make sure the top of the upper back is freed up and not on anything. And then the position, the choices for the legs are this. I think all of you would be better to start off with knees bent for just a little while, for a couple of breaths. The spine is totally connected. And we are having an effect on this thoracic spine, the least flexible, the part of you that's attached to all the ribs. So at first, there may be a tugging on the low back and or the neck, the neighbors. So the lower back and the neck are the neighbors to the middle spine.
So at first, having the knees bent, feet are a little wider than the body, and the knees fall in towards each other. This will allow that deep opening to be where it is I'd like it to be, which is in the chest and not in the low back or in the neck. Make sure then that your head, the pressure on your head is in the very center of the back of your head, closer to your neck, not in the top part of your head. If you could cut your head in half like an equator, like if your head was a globe and you cut it where the equator is, I want you to be below the equator. So be below the equator or right at the equator and slightly below. Nose is up towards the sky, bottom chin is to the wall across from you. So using gravity here and using props to help with posture and postural alignment. Then you're going to close your eyes, minimize your sensory input. So minimize what you see, what you taste, what you smell. The here is my voice. And then bringing your awareness to your breath. The breath is the connector. The breath is connecting the body and the mind. The breath connects the subconscious and the conscious. So in this position, I want you to notice the back of your body. If your feet are on the floor with the knees bent, notice the feet on the floor. If your feet are a little wider than your body, notice your knees falling in towards each other and the inner knees are supporting each other. And then notice your tushy. Notice the sacrum, the base of the spine in the floor, and feel that support. Bring your awareness there to notice how much of your pelvic area is touching the floor. And then visualize the sacrum, this big triangular shaped bone at the bottom of your spine. And notice the connection of this part of your body up against whatever it's resting on, a mat, any part of the floor. Bring your awareness there for a couple of breaths with total awareness as if the eyes turn to look down at the sacral area, the lower spine that's embedded in the pelvis. Bring your awareness to your lower spine. Take a couple of breaths there. Notice what you notice. For most of you, it'll be floating away from the floor. And then bring your awareness to whatever it is that's behind your spine. Maybe you rolled up a blanket or towel, or maybe you chose to use nothing. So feel either the floor supporting your thoracic spine, or feel the rolled up or folded blanket. And then as you breathe in, keep the mouth closed, breathing in and out through the nose. Direct the breath in the nostrils towards the back, behind the lungs, behind the heart, to the back of the lungs. And feel your breath pressing into the back of your rib cage towards the floor or the prop that you're resting your body on. Breathing in the nose, Feel the backwards pressure as you breathe into the back of the lungs behind the heart. And feel it gently pressing up whatever prop or the floor. I'd like you to visualize this part of your spine. There's 12 bones here. From right where the belly button is, all the way up to the top of the back. And each breath you take, the ribs are attached to the spine. So as you breathe in, the lungs expand the rib cage. There's a gentle movement in this part of the spine, very gentle, as you can imagine. So take a couple of breaths here to expand your rib cage and feel it expand from the lower ribs all the way up to where the clavicle bones are, the very top of the front of the chest. Feel the movement of the lungs. Feel the movement of the rib cage. Feel the sideway movement. Feel this expansion. And then on the next breath, I want you to feel the upward movement of the breath, right where the clavicle bones are. The secondary breathing muscles are in this part of the body. Feel it rise up towards the head. So the breath comes in and then it moves up to the top of the lungs towards the head. Feel the upward lift towards the head of the body. And then bring your awareness to the breath as you bring the breath in now down to the lower ribs and a downward movement towards the feet or towards the knees. If you'd like to explore straightening the legs here, you could take the legs to a straight position. Do one at a time and feel the low back, how it responds. Notice if anything is stimulated or triggered that's unpleasant. Come back into bent knees if it is. If you go to straight legs, if you take your legs a little wide, say 2.5 feet, allow the toes to gently flop towards the floor. Breathing down to the lower ribs, feel the lower ribs all the way around, the top, the front, the sides, and the back of the ribs, moving down towards the pelvis, down towards the feet. Feel all that you feel in your body when you do this. Be in your body to feel this. Breathing down to the lower lungs, letting the movement go down towards the pelvis, down towards the feet. Feel the belly rise, feel the lower ribs expand. Take your last breath like this. Bring your awareness to your fingers, to your toes. You start to bring movement into the fingers, into the toes. So I guide you in the way that I guide you through a body position. And if it's not appropriate for your body, if it doesn't feel good for you, find what does feel good for you. The beginning of class is arriving or attunement, bringing the awareness from the outside to the inside and into the place of somatic awareness, so that as we practice the physical asana, you're able to know what's appropriate for you, what your range of motion is. Let's take the arms all the way overhead, stretch the legs all the way away from you, and point the toes towards the floor. If straightening the legs doesn't feel good for your knees or your hips, then keep your knees bent and think about your kneecaps lengthening or your upper leg bone lengthening out of the hip. And then with those of you with a straight leg, we're going to shimmy our pelvis. So even if you have something underneath your upper shoulder blade area, your chest, we're moving the lower pelvis here like we're walking, keeping the legs straight, sliding one heel at a time away from us. So if you bring your feet into a flexed position and you think about your hip points moving, one hip moves away, the other hip moves away. Think about the tops of your hips. Push one top hip away from you as the heel lengthens away. And then do the same thing with the other side. Shimmying your hips, stretching the pelvic muscles. And then bring yourself to a neutral position. Let's take the knees into a bent position if they're not bent already, and roll onto your right side. Roll onto your right side. Cradle your head with your right arm. Then take your left hand, open your left hand on the floor in front of you so that your hand is spread as much as you can spread it. You're going to look down to the floor. You're going to press your entire hand into the floor with the palm. Don't lead with your head. Don't let your head come up. Lead with your shoulder. Most of the focus here is on pressing away from the floor and bring yourself up. Now, I would like you to tell me, not necessarily now, but maybe later in chat or in an email form, the shimming of the hips. So the shimming of the hips was like walking. It was whoosh, 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 whoosh. The hips were going like this, but the knees were staying straight. That might have given some of you a little, I don't know, something in the low back, something in there. So try to remember if it did. That's good for you to have diagnostics on movement patterns. And then I hope my new little boyfriend, it wasn't distracting. He was running around like crazy, and I had a tennis ball, so he's playing with it. I took it away from him halfway through. So hopefully he wasn't distracting. They refer to the mind in yoga as a monkey mind. And then sometimes they refer to the mind as a drunk monkey bit by a scorpion to show how crazy our mind is. So he was that for me today. He was that potential distraction that I could have followed and went with or not. And so I took away what was fueling him and I brought myself to the or not. Okay. So I just want to warm up the body, warm up the hips, warm up the knee joint, because I know that at least one person mentioned knee and maybe others have knee issues. So I'd like to warm up our feet and our legs and our knees and before we get up. So you're going to need a blanket or a towel. Depending on how much roundness you have in your upper spine, you may need to fold this a little more. So do what's appropriate for you. Bringing yourself to a Navasana position. So the blanket is underneath your head here, and you're going to bring yourself into a position so that you can eventually go down onto the floor. So come here into this position. Because this is an osteoporosis class, we are not going to round our spines. I want to come up here into boat pose Navasana. First, starting off by balancing on our tailbone, which is the base of the spine, and firing up and warming up the core muscles. So for many of you, being here with the holding on to the backs of thighs, elbows are out to the side, this is enough for you. Make sure you're not rounding that thoracic spine. So push the heart forward, contract your core, drawing everything inward towards the center and from the bottom and from the top. And then bring your hands alongside your body. We're going to take 5 breaths here. Do what's appropriate for you. My breaths are pretty slow, so one more. We've been working on challenges, and the only one that I've introduced so far is a plank challenge for a minute. A Navasana or boat pose challenge is another good challenge to do. So that was 5 breaths there. Hey, you better stop. What we're going to notice is that pretty soon this guy's going to run out of steam. It's so interesting to watch. Okay, is your sister there? Let me see if the other cat is here. Maybe he can go out with her or she can come in. Okay. All right. We're going to come all the way down onto the floor. You're going to take your hand, reach your hand to the side, come all the way down onto the floor. Knees are bent, feet are flat. Take the arms out to the side, palms are up. Feet are pretty wide here. Not all the way mat width, just wide. You're going to start to let your knees go side to side. So don't go too far yet. You're going to slowly warm up muscles of muscles of rotation and the core muscles, so back muscles and core muscles. And your body isn't really warm yet, so you want to go slow at first. I like to keep the soles of my feet on the floor at first so that I don't go into tipping my pelvis and rotating my lower back, especially for those of you that have issues in your low back. It's nice to lube them up first, lube up the muscles, the joints, the tissue, soft tissue. Bring yourself back to center. Let's take the feet really wide here. Now you're mat width. And you're going to let your legs go a little farther this time. Maybe a buttock comes off of the floor. Come back to center. Go to the other side. Inhale to go out to the center as you lengthen your body. And then exhale, contract your core. So draw everything to center. Push the belly button to the spine. Inhale to the side. Exhale back to center. Inhale. Exhale back to center. You inhale to the side. You exhale back to center. And the next time you come over to the left, stay there. So if you're watching me, I mirror you. So even though this is my right side, I'm going to mirror you because when I look into the screen, I see that's the left side of my body. So I'm mirroring you the same way that I would if I were teaching you in person. Take your right hand, reach your right hand off the floor, flex the wrist of the right hand, the knees are to the left, the right hand is reaching out, you're lengthening your right side body. Feel the stretch on the thigh. This is good for those of you with knee issues. You're stretching one of the quadriceps called the rectus femoris, goes over the hip joint and the knee joint. Push your hip joint up towards the sky, minimizing that flexion in the hip. That'll help to lengthen it more. And then when you reach the right hand away from you, if you flex the hand, pull that lower right rib away from that top right pelvis. Create space in your waist here. Push your heart up towards the sky, warming up the body to start bending and moving. Hip joint, spine, getting that knee joint to be a little bit lubricated here. Take one more breath. And then exhale, slowly bring yourself back up to center. And then we're going to go over to the other side. When the knees finally get all the way over to the right, then you let go, meaning any contraction or holding so that that right knee comes closer to the floor. Don't push it down, just let gravity do the job. And then take that left hand off the floor, reach the left hand away from you, and then lengthen that left knee towards the foot part of your mat. Feel that hip stretch, pushing that hip up, and then add that spinal extension, how we began class today. Reach, reach, reach. Deep breaths down to your belly. Create space on your left wrist or left waist. Push that front hip up towards the sky. Take one more breath down to your belly. Let the breath also be part of this stretch and lengthening action in the spine. And then go ahead and bring yourself back up to center. Put your feet on the floor. Push your hands your feet into the floor. Lift your pelvis up so you come back into a neutral. And then bring your right knee into your chest. If you'd like to straighten your left leg, you can. Do what is appropriate for you. You can have it straight or bent. And then you're drawing the knee in pretty deeply. And then you're just going to take the knee, move it around, side to side. Take a hold of that knee with your right hand and move that knee around in circles in one direction, circles in the other direction, lubricating that right hip joint. Bring your hands behind your thighs, clasp your hands. You're going to inhale and exhale to lubricate the knee joint. And then for those that mention they have issues in their knees, notice if this is the one you have an issue in. Notice if this action is comfortable or uncomfortable. I find for many, and I'm actually going to say most in my experience, that when we take gravity away from that joint, adding momentum in it doesn't cause discomfort. So notice if that's the case for you right now. If you'd like to see what happens if you add a circular pattern to your knee, you move your knee in a circle. Try not to make it be the hip, make it be the knee joint, going around in a circle. So my feet are making this little circular pattern. And then bring your leg to a straight position. You're going to inhale, point the foot strongly. Feel that beautiful. I call it beautiful because I think it is such a yummy stretch on the front of my foot. Inhale, and then exhale, strongly flex. Not quite as yummy. Now it's in the calf. Inhale and exhale. Now that's my body. It might not be that way for your body. Inhale and exhale. And then circles in one direction, circles in the other direction. Let's take that foot, put that foot on the floor, the right knee, and slowly allow the right knee to open to the right. Now, again, if you need to have your legs knee bent, do that. Take your left arm here and press your left arm into the floor. So one of the things I learned today with Dr. Fishman is the word coordination. And I think many of us think of that word coordination as balance and how well we can balance. And he spoke about coordination of the body being antagonist and agonist, I think that's what it's called, muscles. So one side versus the other, and how they need to work in unison to help protect the body, minimize wear and tear, keep the body safe, and keep the body in proper alignment. Take one more breath here. And then exhale to bring that knee up. We're going to switch. Now you're going to bring your left knee in and straighten your right leg. If it's appropriate to straighten your right leg, for you it may not be. And if it's not, you're going to go ahead and bend that knee. You're going to draw that knee in and you're going to start to bring side to side movement. For those of you with issues in your hips, sometimes this flexion in the hip joint is not good, doesn't feel good. Take your hand on your knee and you're going to move that knee around in a circular pattern in one direction. Notice that my pelvis is not moving at all. This is a ball, go the other direction. This is a ball in a socket. Can you let the ball roll around in your socket without your pelvis tilting or moving? Stretching the muscles that manipulate and move, stabilize that hip joint. And then go ahead and grab on behind the knee. You're going to take an inhale and an exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then if that circular pattern, if you want to try that, the knee joint is a very interesting joint. It moves in a lot of movements. Go the opposite direction. The other thing that's interesting about the knee joint is it's the number one weight bearing joint in the body. It takes the brunt of everything from above. Bring your leg into a straight position or close to straight. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. For those of you that wanted a little bit more work when you were doing this, if you take your leg into a straight position, this is a little bit more muscular work. If you wanted to add muscular work here when you're warming up the body. So depending on where you're at in your practice, where you're at in your life, you inhale straight, you exhale flex. And then you're going to put that foot on the floor. Allow that leg to lengthen, that knee lengthens out to the side. Make sure this hip doesn't fly up. Take the opposite arm, which in this case for you guys is the right arm. Press the right elbow into the floor, and that will help to turn on the stabilizers. The stabilizing aspect, the coordination of adduction in the left leg. Take one more breath. And then go to bring your knee up. Okay, we're gonna come into our first pose for osteo. We're gonna do bridge pose. I just love you. I love you, baby. We're gonna do bridge pose. I would love for you to have a block. And if you don't have a block, take a blanket or a towel and wrap it up so you could have something to squeeze onto. You're gonna take your hands above your head. Inhale. So first let the feet be in neutral. So pick them up and put them down. So don't walk them close to your body yet. We're going to do a little dynamic bridge. When you do bridge and you lift your body up and you have any weight near the head and neck, you don't want to look side to side. So don't look at the screen, just listen to my voice. Inhale, arms are overhead. As you exhale, squeeze the block, push your feet into the floor. Let the low back touch the floor first. And then lift the pelvis off the floor. You can contract the glutes here, squeeze the block. Let your arms come up towards the ceiling and then pointing down, fingertips are pointing down to the foot edge of the mat. That entire movement will be your exhale. On the entire inhalation, leading with the thumbs, you're going to slowly push one spine bone into the floor as you lower down. Inhale, arms go end up all the way at the top. Exhale, squeeze the block, contract the tushy, lift the pelvis, close your eyes if you can, and feel what's happening in your spine. Close your eyes, exhale to rise, inhale to lower. One more like this dynamic with awareness, interoception in your body. Exhale to rise, inhale to lower. Bring your hands down alongside your body. Walk your feet closer to your body. Your feet are all the way close to your body. You're going to squeeze the block here. Hands are in the floor. Squeeze the block. Let the low back touch the floor first. Squeeze the block and then lift your pelvis off the floor as high as you can. Squeeze the block. Lift the pelvis off. If you know how to clasp, you're going to tuck the shoulder blades closer to the spine, grabbing onto the hands. For those of you that clasp, those of you that don't, you're going to bend the elbows, palms face each other, fingertips are up towards the sky. Squeeze the block, knees are moving away from you. Chin is down towards the chest, heart pushes up towards the sky. Take 5 breaths here if that's okay for you. If not, come down after 3 or 2 or whatever you need. Long, slow, deep breaths. Squeeze the block, contract the tushy. Squeezing the block and contracting the tushy will help herniations in the disc for any of you that have herniations in the discs. Wherever you are, take one more breath if you can. And then you're going to slowly, slowly come all the way down. Take your block to the side, bring your knees into your chest, stretching low back, stretching the glutes. That was to strengthen the muscles for posture with the extension in the upper spine. Let's come on all the way onto the belly and let's do the prone position pose. That is locust pose. So come first onto Sphinx pose to create space in your body. Elbows are underneath the shoulders. Lead with your chest. So think about your heart pointing forward towards the front edge of your mat if you were on a mat. Lengthen yourself all the way down, pulling length into your spine. Forehead touches the floor, hands come alongside the body. Legs are coming straight out of the pelvis, so they're pretty close towards each other. And then you're going to inhale to lift the legs off the floor, lift the arms off the floor, lift everything off the floor except for top thighs, pelvic bone, and belly to the ribs. Now imagine you're like a kitten being raised by the mama cat. So it's the nape of your neck that's reaching up towards the sky, not the middle of the head or the head at all. Reach the hands away, reach the feet away. Then roll the legs in the socket so the inner thighs roll up towards the sky. The outer edges are down towards or towards the mat. And then to protect that low back, can you push the pubis bone into the floor? That's the very bottom of the front of your torso. If you want to come to your arms out to the side, you can bring the arms out to the side. Try to keep the hands as high as the elbows. So for many, it's the elbows that are higher than the hands. If you want to come into full expression, you reach your hands forward, palms face each other, thumbs are up towards the sky. Do the right version for your body, not just for your body today, but for your body whenever. Each day is different. 3 breaths if you can. If you need to come down, come down. And then you're going to take your hands, fold your hands one on top of the other, rest the forehead on the back of the hands. Wiggle your pelvis back and forth, side to side. Shake, shake, shake. Settling your spine as if you could shake your body and everything is relaxed so that the skeleton falls back into alignment in the joints. And then go ahead and reach your right hand up towards away from you. So you can roll onto your right side. Bending your arm, take your hand on the floor. You're going to lead with your left shoulder, not your head, to bring yourself up to seated. So while I'm remembering this, one thing I would like to say is this, that you mostly do things with one side of your body, right? If you're right-handed, you're wiping down the counter of your kitchen with your right hand. Right now I had us getting onto our right side to come up. Most people, that's the side they would choose to. So maybe switching that up. You brush your teeth with your right hand all the time. So I'm going to suggest that, especially now that you're home with this raised awareness on our behaviors and lifestyle, it's a perfect time to make great new changes and shifts in your body. Start using your left hand or your opposite side for things. Okay, that can be really a wonderful thing to do. All right, so we have our plank challenge that we've been doing now for about 5 or 6 weeks, whatever it is. You're going to come onto a blanket so that your knees are supported here, especially for those of you with the issues in your tissues. You're going to come on. I'm going to add a few things because we've been doing this for 5 or 6 weeks now, and a lot of us are getting pretty strong, myself included. So I am going to add some things for the new people that are here. I'm not sure what your practice is. And so do what's appropriate for you. The choices for plank are this. The regular plank is like this. If I put a marble in the back of my head, it would go down my spine, come off my tailbone. That's regular plank. Modified plank, you have your lower legs on the floor. And for those of you with shoulder issues, coming onto a forearm plank is better. So forearm plank or a modification of forearm. So you're going to choose what's appropriate for you. And then for those of you that are feeling pretty good, I'm going to add some challenging things. So alignment is really important here with your plank. Okay, so take your hands directly underneath your shoulders. That's important. Don't have them too wide. Thumbs are turning in towards each other. Pointer fingers are pointing straight away from you to the top of your mat. Take one foot back, take the other back, and come all the way up. Keep your feet pretty close to each other. Start taking deep breaths. If you're counting to see if you're getting stronger, I'm doing the timer for the minute. If you want to add a little something different this time, you're going to bring your left hand forward, reach your left hand off the floor and come into a 3-legged plank. And then let's try the other side. You don't have to do this, remember. Come back with both. If you're going to try do something else, you can take one foot off. I like to do it for 2 breaths. And then the other foot. Push your hands in. Draw your hands towards your knees. And then go ahead and come down. Come all the way up. So for those of you that tried that with me, you're going to feel a lot more work in your shoulders. And I know that's pretty crazy. So what I've been doing with my minute plank, I do it mostly breaths actually. So I've been trying to do 10 deep breaths, slow breaths. And so I'll do 2 breaths with one hand off, 2 with the other, 2 with one leg, 2 with the other, and then whatever adds up to 10. So that's 8 right there. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, probably. All right. Roll out your wrists. Bring a foot forward. And if you're stronger on your right, you know you're pretty strong, then switch it. Put your left foot forward. Flip your back toes under, bring yourself forward, and bring yourself all the way up. Okay, so, oh, maybe this is okay. All right, so grab a chair if you need a chair. I am going to just demo a little bit for those that need it. And then if you need a block or a step stool, these are other items I suggested. You're going to bring yourself, take your mat off of, your blanket off your mat. Bring yourself into a mountain pose, Tadasana. So Dr. Fishman just did his 3rd series of poses for the osteoporosis. Plank is one of them. So yes. So plank pose is now part of, it's not in his study that he's been doing since the early 2000s that's showing improved density, bone density, although he does of course think that these poses will also have a great effect. It's just that they haven't been studied for all of these years like the rest of his poses. Bringing yourself into what's called Tadasana or mountain pose. This is one of the poses in the practice. So here, the feet, the big toes are closer together than the back of the feet. And you're on your feet. I want you to feel the weight goes forward. I want you to feel the weight goes back. Feel the weight goes over to the left and the weight goes over to the right. Come so that you have, if you break, think about 12 places to apply pressure onto your sole of your foot. 6 of those would be in the heel. 2 of those are in the big toe, and then 1 on each toe. So that's how you divide the weight to evenly distribute yourself. We're here in mountain. Fingertips are moving down towards the floor. Shoulder blades are sliding towards each other, and the clavicle bones, the upper chest bones, lifting up towards the sky. And then imagine, put your head back on top of your spine. So notice if your head is forward. And if it is, put it back on top of your spine. And the very center of your crown of your head, like a puppeteer has a string, and there's a gentle lift up so you create space in your vertebra, helping to establish proper alignment in the spine. For those of you that are feeling really comfortable with balance, try to minimize your gaze or close your eyes. For those of you that are still having challenge with balance, choose something straight ahead. See if you can minimize your gaze a little bit from the periphery. Feel your feet in the floor. Keep those shoulder blades towards each other, strengthening the back muscles, strengthening your hanger that holds you up in a proper postural position. Take one more breath. And then slowly come out of that. Feel that work in the upper back. If you're doing this properly, it's actually a lot of work in the upper back. We're going to come into a wide stance. This is going to be goddess, a little goddess warm up, and then a warrior 2 warm up. If you need a chair, have a chair in front of you. So it's important, or if you need to do this near the wall, if you feel really precarious with your balance, if you're near a wall, so the wall is there if you need it, that's better for you because then you're able to build the strength in the bones, in the joints, and the muscles. And that's more important than proving anything to anybody that you could do this out in the center of the room. Okay? So I really think doing a wall in the beginning is a great way to develop strength. Take your feet really wide here. And if you're not comfortable with balance, you're not going to be wide. So I want you wide. And if you need a chair, bring a chair. Then you're going to point the toes out. So the toes are pointed out. They're not pointing straight ahead. The toes are pointing out. You're going to take your hands. You're going to inhale. As you bend your knees back away from you. So push them back. Don't go too far, especially those of you with knee issues, and not in the beginning. We're stretching muscles and the ligaments that cross over the knee joint. So I want you to just go slow here. Try to let it be that it's the hip joint that bends and that the body goes straight down to the floor. Let your palms be up towards the sky, a little more clearance for shoulder issues. Then bring yourself into goddess. This is goddess pose. Even you boys can do it. We have feminine and masculine energy in all of us. So this is the goddess pose. The lower you go, the more challenging this is for quadriceps, for knees. You do you, everyone else is taken. Do what's appropriate for you. You're pushing your knees back. So feel that you're pushing your knees back with your muscles. Coming into goddess pose wherever you can. If you'd like to take one foot up and then the other. So this is going to strengthen those quadriceps, those top thigh muscles that are supportive for the knee joint. If you can come up into both, balance. Grab the floor with the toes. And then bring yourself here. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up. Feel that right here. Quadriceps. Really great for metabolizing stress hormones that you've got going on in your body as well. Okay, we're going to come into our warriors. So, there was a new warrior we could do. Let's see. All right, toes are pointing forward, really wide stance. If you are nervous about balance, and this is you, because you're nervous about balance, go to a wall, please, or bring a chair in front of you. We want that width. We're going to start loading up joints. We're going to be bending, flexing the knee, flexing the hip. So we want to get that flexion in there to pull and strengthen and lengthen and all the stuff that we're trying to do. So I'm assuming that you're mirroring me. So I'm assuming for all of you, and most of you, not all, depending on what device you're using, this is your left side. Wherever the chat box is, this to you, if you went like that to high five me, we would touch hands and it would be your left hand touching my hand. And on this side, it would be your right hand that comes forward, okay? So it's not that for me, it's the opposite. I'm going to say right when you're on this side, and I'm gonna say left when you're on this side, okay? So look that way and think about your left when I say left. Don't look at what I'm using, okay? Do as I say, not as I do. Or do as the screen is indicating for us. Take your left foot, pick your left foot up, point your left foot to the left, then pick your right heel up, point your right heel to the right. The important thing when we do the standing poses is the connection of the feet and the floor. This is going to strengthen the arch. It's going to stretch out the ankle joint area. It actually, we didn't even do our balls. Okay, can we just come out of this for a second? Getting a ball, or where did I put it? I hid it from him. Jeez. Actually, he took it. Oh, here it is. Okay, grab your ball because I'd like us to soften up the tissue of the knee joint. We're going to start loading up the knee joint. So you're going to get your ball and you're going to put your ball in your left foot. If you don't have a ball, get a towel rolled up, or it could even be your blanket, or it could be your strap, whatever it is you have, or it could even be the edge of your block. I would like us to get the tissue and myofascial when we compress the muscles, the wrapping around it, the casing like sausages, the fascia actually has fluids in it and it attracts moisture. That connectivity that goes through your body, that's what we're doing. We're making ourselves better at reception. So joint reception, proprioceptive nervous system. So this is it helps with your balance. And for those of you with the issues in your tissues, it's going to soften up that whole kinetic chain. And this is really great for knee health. Come to the arch part of your foot. Roll around in the arch part of your foot. Oops. Bring your awareness to the back so that the toes are on the ball, or the toes are on the washcloth, or the toes are on whatever the heck they're on. And even if they're not on something, that's okay. Just come here and do a little balance with us. The left heel is pushing into the floor. The left toes are on top of the ball. And you're going to try to lift that right foot off the floor. Okay? Taking your toes away. It's going to show you how important toes are. This is why when I said 12 sections, 6 of them were in the heels. And I said 2 at the big toe and 1 on each toe. Okay? Toes are very important. Let's come forward. The ball is in the middle of the heel. So I have to say that he's here by popular demand. Sometimes I think having them is distracting, and I hope it's not for you. He's part of my life, being at home during these times. So I hope he's not distracting you.
Think of him as the monkey, the drunk monkey bit by a scorpion, the monkey mind, and that this is the opportunity to let go of that. Now your foot is on the ball or whatever it's on, and you're going to come in with your toes on the floor and push two underneath the big toe, and then push each toe into the floor, but really activate that left big toe. And you'll notice how this will really improve your balance. So the poses we're about to do, the standing up poses, have a balance component to them, and this is a way to fire up everything and turn on everything. Okay, let's go to the other foot. Take the, I know somebody said something there. Hopefully it was like, oh no, we love your cats. He really is honestly unbelievable. I feel like I thank him every day for choosing me to be his mom. He is just pure, beautiful love, soft, beautiful blue eyes, like the clearest crystal clear blue eyes. And I have 4 cats. So this is our one of our new additions. We love cats. I think cats are amazing. I think I'm gonna turn you all into cat people. Okay, let's flip our foot onto the side. So we're in the arch. And Dr. Fishman was talking this morning about coordination, that for people with plantar fasciitis, it's a lack of coordination in the muscles. The muscle, the foot's doing the same action over and over, and there isn't that agonist, antagonist, I believe. There isn't that coordination action going on. And I find that for people with plantar fasciitis, using a ball or pressure like this is a really great way to soften the muscle, hydrate the muscle, take some of the tension and then the pain and the inflammation out of that area. Now the heel is on the floor, the toes are around the ball, and you're going to lift your foot off the floor. So now your left foot is coming up, you're in your right heel, and you'll notice here without toes how hard it is to balance. And the other thing is the foot is forward. So don't pick your foot up and bring it to the back, because that makes it, I want the foot forward because I want this thigh, talking about knees. That's why. What? Did you hear me scream? What? And then let's go to the heel. Place the heel in the ball, pick up the toes, spread the toes. Bring the toes forward. So I know that you can see me from the front. I'm not right next to my other foot. I'm not behind my other foot. I'm forward. And then bring that foot up into the air. Press the big toe, the right big toe into the floor. Press all the other toes into the floor. Real nice connection. When we do single leg work also, this is compressive force in the hip joint. So in terms of strengthening the top of the hip bones, creating a force here, not necessarily, this is like Karate Kid and we're on a ball. So this is not necessarily technically a pose, yet there's a lot of compressive force here that's going to cause the pelvis and the top of the femur head to respond by laying down more bone for you. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself to off of that. I'm gonna let him out. Come here. You wanna go out? Go. All right. So we're gonna come into our warrior pose. I wanted to do warrior. So you're gonna take your hands, your legs wide, really, really wide. And then you're gonna take the left toes over to the left and the right heel away. So as I was saying before we softened and warmed up everything, maybe even now you could feel your feet. Do you feel your feet? There's a lot of like reception there. You can actually feel them. There's warmth. You notice the entire footprint. So what's really important with the standing postures is that the foot placement is very important. And it's not just that they're there and you're going to do whatever you're doing up here. I really want you to get that nice padding. So this foot here, the right foot for you, the pinky toe edge, the big toe pad, so underneath the big toe, and the heel. Push that into the floor. And as you push down, feel that energy coming up into your body. And push down to bend your left knee. As you bend your left knee, push your left knee to the left. So the knee is not coming in, the knee is pressing there. If you look down here, your knee should be on top of your ankle. It shouldn't be that the knee went forward. So if that does, you might need to walk your foot forward. So keep this leg straight. You're pushing your right leg. Your torso comes straight down. Come down as deep as you can. For those of you that have been practicing with me for a while, you could go a little deeper. And especially now that we're all at home practicing, we're getting a little stronger with that plank and everything. Contract your core, lift your core up, lift your pelvic floor, draw from around the sides to contract the core, push the belly button back towards the spine, bring your arms up, look at your left arm right coming out of your shoulder, then turn your head slowly over to the right arm. Make sure the right arm is lifting straight off of your body and not forward, and slowly bring your gaze back over to the left. Bring your torso directly on top of your pelvis. Go a little deeper if you can. Push the knee to the side. But now make it like a fist on the floor with both feet. Push your feet down and pull that energy in you to get about 2 inches taller. Deep breaths down to your belly. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring your legs up straight. So because we're not in class and I can't see you and I have a few new people here today, I'm not going to go straight into side angle. We're going to go to the other side. Toes are forward. Pick up your right toes, turn your right toes to the right, and your left heel goes away from you. Feet are nice, firm foundation. Push the left big toe on the floor, left heel, lift that left arch off the floor. Push that whole pinky toe left side foot to the floor as you come down deep into your lunge. The body goes down as you go forward. Don't let the body go forward. Okay, so you want to flex deep at this hip joint. Hip joint is flexing and knee joint is flexing. Bring your hands up. Come as low as you can. Position your legs so that you're in proper alignment. Look over your right fingertip and then slowly let your gaze go to your left. Slide your shoulder blades towards each other. This is postural strengthening the upper body. Bring yourself back to center. Push that left big toe into the floor. Push that left pinky toe edge into the floor. Go as deep as you can comfortably. Draw the belly up, protecting that lower spine. Your chest, right where your heart is, lift that up as if the puppeteer has a piece of string right in the center of your chest lifting up towards the sky. And your head is lifting up towards the sky. And then feel that heaviness and that grounded action of your lower body as you feel that connection to the earth. Take one more breath. And then slowly come up. Keep your legs here. We're going to go to side angle. Take your left foot, left toes go up. Right heel goes away from you. So aging bodies and osteoporosis, we don't want to flow through joints. So that's why we're breaking this up into going into a 30-second hold at least, maybe a little longer for us today. As you push down onto your right foot, inhale, let your arms float up and let your knee bend. Let your hip joint bend too. Knee and hip are bending. Look over your left fingertips, then bend that left elbow. Let your whole torso bend over towards your left knee. Put your left arm on top of your thigh and then bring your right hand up towards the sky. Here's your heart. Turn your heart towards me. Go as deep as you can in that hip joint. If you'd like to go deeper, take your arm, straighten your arm, turn your torso open. If you'd like to turn your palms up and over to the left, you can. Deep breaths here. Push your belly button to your spine, tailbone points down towards the inner edge of the right heel. Feel those inner thigh muscles stretch. The adductors are attached to the pelvis, pulling on the pelvis. Femur head is pressing into that hip joint, creating a lot of compressive force in your left hip. Take one more breath. Bring your arms back up first and then straighten your legs. Last side like this in the spread leg position. Take your toes face away from you, heel is away from you, and then you're going to inhale, let your arms come up, press into the left edge, left big toe, come all the way down. Look over your right fingertip and then bend that right hand, come on to the top of the thigh. Let your left hand come up into the sky. Sink a little deeper in your pelvis if you can. Heart is opening forward. Palm can face over to the right. Then if you want to go deeper, you bring the hand onto the inner knee joint. Rotating the trunk open. Deep breaths. Belly button to spine, tailbone towards the inner back, heel. One more breath. bring yourself up and then come out. All right. Woo! Take your legs. Shake, shake, shake. I didn't turn on my clock today. Well, hopefully you guys are going a little more challenging here. Okay, I'd like to do Warrior 3, which I've never taught before, and it's part of the new series. Sorry, I don't know the new people that are with me, so I cannot tell how precarious this may be for you. Choices here would be a wall or a chair, regardless of who you are. Let me just show you what this pose looks like. Okay, so we'll come into it first. This is airplane. And then Warrior 3 is when the hands are forward. So we're on one leg is behind. The thing that's important is this. Watch my back leg. See how my foot is down to the floor? Sometimes people do this. They open up their hip. The toes point away from them. The toes are pointing down to the floor, and your hip points, your hip lights, these are your hip lights. Your hip lights are pointing down to the ground. Don't let your hip lights try to open up. Your heart is to the floor, and your hips are to the floor, okay? So I would recommend that you have a chair. Another way to do this is to use the wall for that extended leg. You have to play with where you are with that. To use the wall for the extended leg, much, much harder. And the arms are up, so we could come into airplane, or you can come here. So I'm going to do this with a chair. You guys do whatever feels right for you. I want you to do left leg first. So you're going to look at your left foot. Your left toes are going to be pointing straight ahead and not angled out to the side. So the toes are pointing ahead and not out to the side like that. Point ahead, get this nice alignment here. You're gonna first come on to that foot. You can bend that knee at first, okay? You could either keep your hands on the top of the chair or put your hands on the bottom of the chair to get yourself aligned, or you can right away bring your hands off and then bring your hands forward. Woo. Your standing leg can have a slight bend in it. Make sure your weight is evenly distributed in that foot. Press your belly button up towards your spine. Don't let your lower back come into a sway back horse position. All the toes of the standing leg are pointing down towards the floor. The lifted leg are down towards the floor. Take one more breath. And then come out. You should feel your tushy on that. I feel my glutes trying like crazy to hold me up there. Let's go to the other side. Toes are pointing forward. You're going to allow that leg to come up. Toes are still pointing down towards the ground. The toes of the lifted leg. You're going to take your hands off. Either the hands are along the back, which is airplane mode, airplane pose, or you're going to bring them forward into Warrior 3. Push your belly button to your spine, protect your low back. And then bring yourself out. Wow. Now I totally feel that. That was my hip replacement side. So it's always really weird for me to be on a single leg, even though it's almost been 3 years. So very interesting. All right. Well, you'll be happy to note that that's it. And now it's time for Shavasana. So I would suggest, if your back feels weird or anything, legs up a chair, legs up a wall is a really nice way to calm the body down. I'd like you to come onto the floor and find knees to chest to realign anything that may have happened during these poses today. So coming all the way, remember to reach away with your hand, come onto your back. You're either putting your legs up a chair or you're putting them up the wall, or put a bolster or pillows underneath your legs. Oh, and bring your knees into your chest to align your spine before you come into your position.
kariyam, nimame akame, govinde mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, nimame akame, govinde mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, nimame akame, govinde mukande, udare apare, kariyam kariyam, nimame akame, govinde mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, nimame akame, govinde mukande, udare apare, kariyam kariyam, nimame akame, govinde mukande, udare apare, hariyam 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 kariyam, nimame akame. Gently begin to deepen the breath and start to bring some movement into your fingers, into your toes, into your ankles, and into your wrists. And then bringing the knees in so you could bring the knees to the chest as you rock side to side. And then rock all the way onto your right side. Take your left hand on the floor and you're going to lead with your left shoulder as you bring yourself up to seated. We're going to close the practice with sound. The sound we're going to use is the sound Om.
which is the primordial sound of all living things. It's a blending of the ah, the o, and the sound, coming from the back of the throat through the center of the mouth to the lips. Try to break your breath into those three sounds, and at the end, there's a pause. Take your hands, bring your hands together. Bring your thumbs to touch their sternum bones. Sit nice and tall. Lengthen your spine as if the puppeteer was lifting you from the very crown of your head to let you get about 2 inches taller. Back of the neck is nice and long, and the chin is tucking down towards the chest. Take a deep breath all the way down to the belly. At the end of our practice, we bow to each other and say namaste, namaste. And namaste literally means I bow to you. And then to explain that in a really beautiful way is that the light or the divine that exists in me recognizes and honors that same divine or light that's in you. So namaste. Thank you, thank you. I'd love to have feedback on how you are feeling after that practice. I do think I'm teaching a little stronger work now that we're at home. I think that I need it in my own body to metabolize the stress hormones, to take away the moments of my life that seem to be less active. And yet, whether because life is more calm, we're not moving as much, I feel like the challenge is appropriate. I feel like it's all compartmentalized. And I notice it's within my own self getting stronger. I hope that's the same for you. And then I teach 6 classes a week. Come to all of them. Come to 1, come to 2, come to 5, come to 4. My class tomorrow, Yoga for Wellness, in the morning from 9:30 to 10:45. I focus more on stretching and on lower back health. And then the class after that, yoga therapy for improved posture and balance, spinal health, and postural muscles and alignment. So strengthening. This was a pretty strong class today in terms of strength. My osteoporosis are always strength based. Well, that's not true. I do balance and flexibility too, but there's always a strength component because we're building bones. And then, oh my gosh, so much chatter. And then Saturday is stress reduction. Okay, George, thank you. Shannon, good. Donna, thank you. Mary Boone, have I met you before? Are you? I don't know. Sorry if you're using a different name or okay. Shannon, great. Jeannie, yes. Carolyn, awesome, awesome. And Dina, namaste. Um, Warrior 3 is hard. Oh my gosh, I felt my tushy. And boy, do I want my tushy to get strong to support my hips and knees, guys. So great. Oh, Scott, you're under the app company. That's funny. It's different. That's my husband. Okay, excellent class. Thank you for opening me up to join. Yeah, I missed your workshop in March. Let me know when a new one comes up. Yes, I'm working on online programs, online workshops. Warrior 3 is great. Carol, I know you're a stud, and Sharon, you guys will love that. Try it near the wall where you're in the middle of the room. So your sole of your foot is up against the wall, and you can get a really great hip joint to get your pelvis in that 90-90. So your foot is up. And then, even if you just needed your hands back at first and then trying to come forward, I mean, that's like, crazy. Okay. And then let me see. Anna, refreshed, have been practicing yoga for years, but not so much in the past couple of weeks. Great. Nice to have you here. Michael, yes. Lynn, yeah. Warrior 3, what the heck? So that's in the new plank. And Warrior 3 are part of the 3rd series that Dr. Fishman just put out. Yep, great seeing you, Dina, as always. So yeah, I totally notice I'm getting stronger. I hope you guys are as well. And you will if you practice with me 6 times a week. I usually don't do this much yoga because I usually watch you guys and I give you props and I help you align something. So I'm usually not actually physically doing all this. So it feels great in my body. And then I've been doing some butt blasting workouts with my daughter, my 20-year-old. And it's really great. I've been learning some butt blasting stuff, so maybe I'll incorporate that into my classes. These young, 20 somethings doing all this butt blasting. Lynn. Wednesday, stronger class would be the yoga therapy for improved posture. The 9:30 to 10:45 is really great for lengthening and creating space in the body and in the joints, which is important for increased range of motion and staying out of pain and inflammation and wear and tear in the joints, which we all need, right? And there's going to be more strength in that. Um, my connection is unstable. Did you guys see that I froze? It said my connection was unstable. I'm unstable. Oh no, I'm losing it. I don't lose it because I don't even watch the news, so I'm just allowing life to happen. All right, perfect. All right, and then Shannon, I hope you feel good. Cam, I don't know if you're still here. I hope your knee feels good. And those of you with knee issues, I hope that doing this makes you feel stronger. So, yeah, let me see. I'm off to garden. I am planting. I went and bought vegetables um, at the place, of course, with my mask and all that. I'm planting more kale. I'm planting more tomatoes. I'm planting cucumbers, uh, mint, and I don't know what else. Not for mojitos, not drinking. All right. Well, yes, coffee and alcohol not good for bones. Although they said that alcohol, not necessarily. Dr. Fishman said it's not been shown to be negative to bones. Okay. Well, I am going to sign off and I'll be here tomorrow at 9:30 for Yoga for Wellness. So we could take care of our nervous system and strengthen our bodies. For those of you that have not practiced with me before, if you have any questions, either on my website, debbierobinson.com, DEBI Robinson.com, you can email me or contact me there. Oh, my email is Debbie at DebbieRobinson.com, DEBI at DEBIRobinson.com. And I'd love to hear from you with comments, suggestions. If you're not subscribed to my channel, if your box is still in red, there's a subscribe button and thumbs up if you like what you see. And anything, of course, always contact me if you need to tell me anything. And my cooking videos, I'm working on my cooking videos. So I've got, I think, 5 up, and I'm really going to start doing a lot more with kale because I've got a lot of kale in my garden. So I've been making salads, and I'd love to teach you how to chemically cook it with acid, meaning oranges and lemons. Anyway, all right. So I'm going to go. Have a beautiful Tuesday, April, whatever. Anyway, until we meet again, thank you.